How's it going? I thought to do a couple of old poems for a friend of mine there, Patrick O'Toole, and his lovely wife Eileen. They've been married for 60 years. 60 bleeding years. Two dubs. Can't beat the dubs. And Martin Nolan. Patrick worked in the hotel business, and that's what I did, ran around Dublin. Martin Nolan leading me astray into the international, buying me drink. Yeah, I'd be so lucky. The Bowles man. But I used to love standing on Hill 16 and watching the boys, Anton O'Toole and all them. I played midfield for 6th Street myself. I love the game. I got me old Hurley here, look. I got me old Hurley, look. Dublin Girl. That's the poem I'm going to do, Dublin Girl. The other side is up the dubs. Coming out backwards. Anyway, that's me old Hurley and the whole lot. But it's a poem called Dublin Girl, you know. About playing football up in the Leinster Cup up in the Phoenix Park, you know. People hate Dublin people because we're so modest and humble and good looking. Sure, we can't help it. We were born that way. No wonder the rest of Ireland hates us. By the way, I've got a few old CDs for sale here too. Brisbane, Australia. That's me, look, I'm completely native. Irish stuff. Irishman's opinion. The song's on there for recovering Catholics. Anyways, there. Anyway, this is a little poem I wrote. What I wrote. I miss Dublin every day, but I had to get out of it for my own health. Dublin Girl. I took my girl home with me to meet the ma and dad, just to sit there in the kitchen and drink a cup of cha. Or walking in the Dublin hills up in Bolton and Brina and stop and take in the view and lie down in the summer grass, making love as lovers do. I'd be so lucky. Sure, there's none so fair as my Dublin girl. We'd heard a boat in Dalkey and rowed the Irish Sea, and I wouldn't bring her back till she said she would marry me. Then we'd lie back and close our eyes, go drifting on the tide, across Dublin Bay, my girl by my side. I have a match up in the Phoenix Park early next Saturday. The quarter-finals of the Leinster Cup on the line she'd watch me play. I try my best to score a goal or two to hear her screams of glee. We'll walk among the red deer, carve our hearts in old oak trees. Not the deer out in the park. Down along Thomas Street and hear the traders call. Drop in to see Liam Weldon in the Tailor's Hall. Ramble down Old Wood Quay where once the Vikings lived. Cut across the Liffey to Abbey Street. We crossed the Halfpenny Bridge, just there at Jim Orden's. Turning left down O'Connell Street where once the pillar stood, before the boys blew it up, as rightly so they should. Now Admiral Nelson looking down on us as we pick the ring. In the Happy Ring House, she hugs and kisses me. Remember the Happy Ring House? Is it still there? People smile as we display our love for the world to see. I drop down on one knee. Will you marry me? I slip her on her snow high hand and ramble up O'Connell Street, then off to Burdocks for fish and chips, my Dublin girl and me. We caught the train from Western Row to the Hill of Bray, rolled and laughed in summer grass and gazed across the bay. Strolled along Dollymount Strand and watched the rising tide. Down by the Royal Canal, the Dublin girl is now my bride. There you go. And that's especially for Patrick and Eileen. 60 years bleeding married. It's hard to believe, isn't it? 60 years. Good going anyway. And especially for me old mucker, my old chef mate, Martin Nolan. And we all used to go around there to the Stag's Tail, as it was in the snooker, and play snooker in the afternoon. Great out city, Dublin. I love yous all. Bye. I love being a dub. So you got the shirt on, look. I'm still waiting for the call up.